This is a great interaction in News of the World. It's between Doris and Captain Kidd. Doris's hair was Irish black with blue lights in it, a rare, true black. She was a small woman, and her wrists were ropey with muscle and hard work. She said, "To go through our first creation is a turning of the soul, we hope, toward the light, out of the animal world. God be with us. To go through another tears all the making of the first creation, and sometimes it falls to bits. We fall into pieces. She is asking, where is that rock of my creation?" The captain took out shaving gear. He went to the far side and hung his mirror on a bolt end and shaved. He said, "Miss Dillon, do you know this how?" "Anne Gorta Moore," she said. "In the famine, children saw their parents die, and they went to live with the people on the other side. In their minds they went. When they came back, they were unfinished. They are forever falling." She shook out her wet, pinned-up skirt and watched as Joanna carefully ate pieces of bacon with her hands. "Well, I don't know what I can do about it." The captain came back around, put away his gear, and sat on the flour keg. He bent his long elderly body with the light creaking of the spine and went through his newspapers. He had to make a living. This was intriguing, but first he needed to hear the coins falling into the paint can. Then he could listen to mysteries about unfinished children trailing their griefs and ragged edges. And the newspapers, they say nothing about this at all, or about the poor at all, Doris said. There are great holes in your newspapers. Nobody sees them, but God sees them. News of the World. Hey, it's Victoria from Ask the Stray Billies. I happened to be watching some of my fellow YouTubers listening about this whole fiasco in South Africa. Farming fiasco, that's what we'll title this. And I saw some clips of Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, and I saw some portions of the interaction with the South African President Ramaphosa and Trump. And, we have to eventually get to the point where we have some independent views on these things. First off, back during Obama's administration, it was legislated that the citizens of this country could be propagandized. And that would mean deeming other countries and what is allegedly going on there as illegal or inhumane. And so you can demonize a culture or a whole country very easily, especially in today's day and age. But there's a lot of great talking points about this interaction that far outweigh the politics. There's no mention of the advancement of our technology in perhaps creating a video, an illusion video of this that perhaps doesn't exist. I have several friends, and I know tensions are high in South Africa. I know they have a lot of the same social problems that everyone's facing. We do have that in common as the human family, marriages, dating. There's also, I believe, they're having periodic blackouts and their energy is turned off for quite a while. From several of my friends, I've seen this. I think this whole farming incident, it was from 5 years ago, and it was actually a robbery, the one that Trump is referring to. But I look at the positive of this because it brings to light what our founding fathers said, that anyone could survive off the land given several acres, a garden, a milk cow, and meat rabbits or a goat or sheep or whatever have you, a cow. So I think it can work for the positive, that if people feel that farming is being demonized, in another country, that perhaps our citizens will take back the control of their food and not rely on the grocery store, which might not be reliable. There's that talking point. There's also a need to talk about the rise of AI and artificial intelligence way that it can manipulate videos and truth. And our politicians are all part of this. Even our local politicians are down with the AI. And we've had multiple warnings through pre-programmed movies of the dangers of artificial intelligence. Then you have the data centers that they want to create more and more of, which the data centers will take more of our energy. And when I look at all these factors, we're truly a world in crisis. It doesn't matter if you're in South Africa or in America. We're definitely a world that humans have lost their way. And I also think like there could have been some humility on Caroline Leavitt's part to bring up these points, because they're very highly important talking points of the legalization of propagandizing Americans. The fact that you can't always believe what you see on the internet. I mean, it was Trump himself that kept saying fake news, fake news. And then we go into the AI, and you know, we all know the green screen for Hollywood has progressed so much that you're seeing dinosaurs and twisters and moon landings. So we don't really know what's real, do we? Even Edgar Allan Poe said the same thing many, many years ago in his poetry. There's also a last talking point before I leave here on this, and that is the overwhelming globalization of our news and the data that we receive in a given day if we allow it into our world. There's a rush towards globalization, and most leaders are complicit. And you look back on simpler times, and you were lucky to get a word from town if you lived on the outskirts of town. And there's a danger to being emotionally bombarded with the amount of news coming out nowadays, because our brain is like a computer and it can crash. And Trump could truly have, you know, believe what he sees because he's just on data overload. That happens to people. Data overload. Nobody wants to talk about data overload. But I caution everybody to have critical thinking skills in these days, to not let the news emotionally overtake you, and to decide maybe on a certain day you don't want to hear any news of the world. It brings me to this wonderful book that I want to end with. Such a great book, News of the World by Paulette Giles. And there was a movie made with Tom Hanks. But my favorite line is the beginning. And this is about a man who would go throughout Texas and other states, and he would read the news. My barking dogs. Gotta love it. He would read the news because a lot of people couldn't read back then, and they didn't have access to papers from all over the United States of America. Because I think in 1870 we were still an actual country and not a corporation. But the best line in this book is in the first page. And Captain Kidd laid out the Boston Morning Journal on the lectern and began to read from the article on the 15th Amendment. He had been born in 1798, and the Third War of his lifetime had ended 5 years ago. and he hoped never to see another. But now the news of the world aged him more than time itself. It's a great book. A great book. Also deals with a little girl that had been taken in by natives and was going to be returned to her family. And you know, there's something to be said about reading books that show the tenacity of the human spirit and what our ancestors have gone through. Books that are realistic and embrace the suffering and man's search for meaning down here through it. So on this wonderful Saturday, if you have some time, look up this book, News of the World, or watch the movie with Tom Hanks. The movie didn't really do it justice, but it was good nonetheless. But, you know, learn to think critically and have some emotional intelligence and humility. And certainly what we witness, well, Shakespeare said it best with our political scheme today. All the world's a stage. Choose how you want to play down here on the stage. Have a great day. Peace be with you all. This will probably be posted on Sunday tomorrow. So happy Saturday and Sunday. And try to steer clear of farming fiascos unless you have one on your own farm. Without farms, we won't have food. My first class in psychology was critical thinking, and I really advocate learning to think critically, especially in these times. You cannot be overly emotional, and if you do, well, we all know how that goes when our emotions run away with us. But certainly when you read the news, that was something a wise man used to say, a very wise man. He used to say, read it critically. And he had read the news so much, and he was very much like Captain Kidd at the end of his life. So, you know, I think it was George Carlin who said it best. What they don't want is a population of critical thinkers. Is this true? How does this serve my life? Is it relevant to what I have to do today for my life? Because at the end of the day, all that matters is what you did in your day and how you treated people. And that is the individual's way. So, just some further thoughts.